Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Microplastics have been found in items consumed by us daily, such as sugar and salt. It's becoming clearer with each passing day that microplastics pose health risks to humans. Continue watching to find out more.
Ahoj means hello in Slovak, the official language of Slovakia. This is how the affable people of Slovakia would greet you if you ever visited their land. Splendid viewers, my name is Edita. The people of charming Slovakia wish that your days are filled with God's love. Welcome to our show, The Dangers of Microplastics to Health, Part 1 of 2. We are surrounded by plastic. It's used for food packaging, shopping bags, computer parts, cosmetics, clothing, home appliances, and so on. Plastics are made from a wide range of synthetic, semi-synthetic, and naturally occurring compounds. Scientifically speaking, these compounds are composed of repeating monomers, which are based on the bonding of carbon and other elements such as hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, etc. It is these repeating monomers that make plastic strong, lightweight, and flexible. Because of these properties, plastics are very useful and an essential part of our daily lives. Since the mid-20th century, our tremendous reliance on plastics has fundamentally changed the way we live. Only recently has there been an increasing awareness of health consequences to humans from plastics. Additives such as bisphenol A linked to affecting thyroid function and phthalates, a possible cause of breast cancer and obesity, are incorporated into plastic during the manufacturing process to make it more durable. These are just some of the chemicals in plastics that have sparked scientists' concern. Plastics are currently produced at a rate of approximately 320 million tons per year, and an astonishing 40% of this amount can be classified as single-use, leading to unending piles of plastic waste. It is estimated that by 2025, plastic waste in the marine environment could reach 250 million tons if active measures are not taken. Potential health threats posed by plastics include scientific evidence that chemicals can leach out and enter our food, ultimately accumulating in our bodies. When the concentration of these chemicals reach a certain threshold level, it can affect vital body processes, such as those carried out by the endocrine system. Many parents are worried about bioaccumulation in children and how this will affect future generations. What are microplastics? Plastic litter is classified into two major categories: macroplastics and microplastics. Macroplastics are well known for negatively affecting living species, including destroying marine habitats. In the beginning, the detrimental impacts of microplastics did not seem to draw as much public attention as those caused by macroplastics. However, over the years, emerging evidence of their dangers has alarmed many and prompted further investigation and action by scientific and medical communities. Microplastics are less than 5 millimeters in diameter. Some microplastics originally were macroplastics, but they disintegrated into smaller fragments by mechanical abrasion and ultraviolet or UV exposure. Other sources of microplastics include microfibers released when washing synthetic clothing, and microplastic beads in cosmetic products such as facial cleansers. Due to their light weight, microplastics can easily recirculate between seawater and beach sediments via winds and currents. In the ocean, marine organisms such as fish, seabirds, and sea turtles can mistake microplastics as their food and ingest them. The consequences of ingestion can lead to oxidative stress and disruption of nutrient intake. Not only are marine animals endangered by the presence of microplastics in seawater, but algae are also victims of the toxicity leached from them. Microplastics have significant negative impacts on tissue, cellular and biochemical functions of organisms. The resulting deaths from microplastics exposure imperil biodiversity and ecosystems. A study of a Scottish wastewater treatment plant found that even though it reduced the microplastic concentration of effluent by more than 98%, it was still releasing 65 million microplastics into the environment each day. In the United States alone, an estimated 8 trillion microbeads, typically microplastics put in personal care products, end up in aquatic habitats daily after water is processed by wastewater treatment plants nationwide. Furthermore, the sludge generated from sewage treatment that is utilized for agricultural purposes has also been discovered to contain synthetic clothing fibers. Microplastics can be picked up by the wind from sludge-based fertilizer, clothes drying outdoors, and degraded agricultural polyethylene sheets, and spread widely. In addition, microplastics have been found in items consumed by us daily, such as sugar and salt. It's becoming clearer with each passing day that microplastics pose health risks to humans. Microplastics can potentially contain endogenous chemical additives which are incorporated into plastic products during production. Consequently, these additives can leach into the external environment due to a lack of chemical bonding to the plastic polymer matrix. In addition, other chemicals inside plastic products can migrate to the surface along a concentration gradient, which is a chemical phenomenon of substances moving from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. These migrating chemicals will be released as they degrade and, if ingested, may be distributed to different parts of the body. They can cause health issues if they accumulate within the body to a certain degree and have the capacity to leach. In a 2015 study, scientists found microplastics in 15 brands of table salt available in the consumer market in China. The product sourced the salt from oceans, lakes, or rocks. A grain of salt is small, but is still visibly distinguishable. So how small were those plastic particles that remained after the production filtering process? The scientists found nearly 700 microplastic pieces in size down to 45 micrometers in 1 kilogram of sea salt. Among them, the predominant plastic detected was polyethylene terephthalate, or PET, which is commonly used to make single-use bottles for water and other packaged drinks. The authors concluded the abundance of microplastics in sea salts was significantly higher than that in lake salts and rock well salts. This result indicates that sea products such as sea salts are contaminated by microplastics. It's been barely over a century since the invention of plastic in 1907, and there are now plastics in our salt. In addition to the dietary exposure pathway, evidence for atmospheric fallout containing microplastics has been found. A study was carried out in a densely populated urban area and a less populated suburb in Paris, France. Samples of particles collected were mostly fibers, and around 30% were plastic. The data revealed that the concentration of plastics was higher in urban areas with more heavy rainfall. In addition to hanging synthetic clothes outside, synthetic rubber tires also have been recognized as a source of microplastics. From samples of particulate matter, or PM, collected in Japan, researchers found 0.16 micrograms per cubic meter of tire wear in the PM10 fraction, meaning that tiny particles of plastics with a diameter of 10 micrometers or smaller were drifting in the air. These scientific findings not only show that the microplastic wastes in our water can come from airborne microplastics, but also point out the possibility of humans inhaling the material. The size of microplastics and the concentration in the air directly affects our health due to the respiratory function and structure of the airway in the human body. Once microplastics enter the respiratory tract, they may be trapped by the lung lining fluid, which is a barrier to substances or pathogens from outside. However, some are more stubborn and elude the clearance mechanism of the respiratory tract. Individuals with impaired clearance mechanisms are especially susceptible to the intrusion of external stimuli like fine dust or microplastics. In occupational health literature, it has been found that the health of synthetic textile industry workers can be damaged by exposure to microfibers. In a study published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine examining nylon floc-associated interstitial lung disease in the US and Canada, pathologists found lymphocytic bronchiolitis in the lung specimens from 15 factory workers, suggesting an inflammation in the small airways. When 6 of the employees were removed from the workplace, their clinical symptoms such as coughing, breathlessness, and reduced lung capacity were resolved without medical treatment. Another 6 workers also recovered after removal from the factory. However, their return to work led to relapses of symptoms. Please join us again on Saturday, January 23rd for the Dangers of Microplastics to Health, Part 2 of 2, where we will cover other ways microplastics can harm us, including disrupting our endocrine system. Sparkling viewers, thank you for your company on today's program. Up next is Supreme Master Ching Hai's Courageous Work for the World, Part 9 of 12 on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May you and your loved ones always be blessed with divine light.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/HL.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/HL.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/HL.
Rancangan kami menawarkan banyak bahasa. Sila kunjungi suprememastertv.com/kehadapan schedule dan suprememastertv.com/kehadapan HL.